Yo, what up, Street Gods? There, Camera at the Thought. What motivates me to shoot? So, I think what we want as photographers is more inspiration or motivation to shoot new photos. So, first things first. I can't speak for you, but let me speak for myself. So, typically, certain things which tend to interest me. One, novelty of scene environments. This is why traveling is so good. Another one is, and it's funny, you don't even need to travel that far. Is that like sometimes just being in a different neighborhood in your city helps wonders. Sometimes it's kind of witnessing interesting contrast or nice, vibrant, juicy colors. Sometimes it's noticing certain textures. So whether there be like gritty textures or unusual looking textures. Also part of it is like certain scenes which seem a bit surreal, like strange kind of like funhouse mirror effects, surrealism in street photography. And one part of it also is you're witnessing a scene which is about to unfold into a decisive moment. So you're looking at something and you're like, oh, when that dude walks like 2 more steps that way in that corner of the frame, it's going to complete the composition. So that's another thing which tends to motivate me to make photos. And also sometimes part of it is just like personal documentation of just like beautiful moments in my life. I think composition, shapes, and forms is also what motivates me to make photos. And in some ways, when you're shooting photos, it's like there's certainly a will to make artwork, visual artworks. Other times it's just like seeing change, like the changing leaves, which is a good motivator. And also maybe the desire to make something last forever, or the hope that you're going to revisit something in the future. Or it's like, so for example, you're having a nice meal with friends, right? You shoot a selfie in order to proclaim to yourself, this is a happy, joyful moment. And by shooting a selfie of that moment with you and your loved ones and whatever you guys are doing, it's putting a stake in the ground saying this is a good, happy moment in some ways. And then also it's like you shoot the selfie, you shoot the selfie and then you send it to your friends, and then it's like a double whammy. It's almost like you're able to double dip in joy, which is a nice thought. And also part of it, like, let's say you're photographing your kids, whatever. Kids obviously grow really fast. And so then part of it is thinking, certain memorable moments. Let's say your child's first steps, let's say, and then it's like, so maybe it's like we want to slow down time, or we want to capture certain moments. Because, for example, let's say your baby's born. Obviously, you want to photograph that because maybe down the line you're like, oh, maybe you have a reference point that, oh, from when my kid was born until now, you could see kind of change over time. So maybe it's change over time, which is a desire. And also maybe part of it is like, you could take ordinary scenes or things. It's almost like a way to flex your creativity muscles by changing the position of your camera, the position of your body, the XYZ axis of however you're shooting it, however you frame it, and however you time it, the decisive moment. That, like, you're almost turning reality into your plaything, in which you've exercised some sort of control, or you transfigured reality, or you rearrange reality in an interesting way. It's almost like photography is almost like Lego bricks for us photographers, but in the real world. Also, I think maybe there's something in the human nature maybe that we see ornate patterns, we see fractal patterns. And fractal patterns are the Fibonacci spiral-esque thing where we see growth. And then there's some sort of like intrinsic joy we have in those visual images. And so certainly there's certain visual images, certain compositions, certain arrangements of visual things which bring us great joy and we want to photograph it. Now, what's the point of photographing the things which bring us joy? Because I think part of it is, obviously it's like kind of there's a social purpose. We photograph something beautiful and we share that beautiful thing with beautiful photograph with somebody else. And there's this intrinsic feeling that, oh, maybe this could also spark joy in someone else's heart. Or there's the thought that like, oh, maybe if I show somebody this beautiful photograph that I shot, they will, pat me on the back for making something beautiful. Yeah, so there's certainly lots of reasons why we photograph things. We want to make photographs. I think the more you could discern why you shoot photographs and what spurs you to make an image, the better. And also realizing that buying a new camera, a new lens, whatever, probably won't spark you interest to make new photos. And once again, this is philosophical. Think about what your own personal photography philosophy is.